Hey, how are you doing, everyone? Happy Thursday. And it's Thursday, it means it's Ben's Camera Show day. Yes, I'm back. As you knew I would be. Like the proverbial bad penny. Back in town. Well, I never left town. I never barely even left my house. Jesus. Oh, what a week it's been. I've gone even deeper into the world of developing this week. That's right. We're gonna save the actual camera to the end, because tonight is all about developing your film. That's right. We are finally going there. There have been a lot of questions, a lot of people asking about how do you do this, how do you do that, and how do you do a bit of the other. And tonight I'm going to show you what's going on with developing your film. No more will you send your film off to the labs. Labs hate this one trick. That's what I should call it on YouTube. Labs absolutely hate this because we're going. Oh dear. Whoops. Yes, labs hate, because obviously I'm a highly organized person, and I'm putting the fear into the labs because everyone is going to start developing their own after this show. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe if one person gives it a go, then tonight will have been a success. We've got an amazing guest on tonight. After 3 shows of season 2, we now have a guest. We've got Dagie Brundert. Very exciting to have her. She is one of the foremost, or if not the foremost, if not maybe even the only developing. God, what do you call her? Developer. She likes to call herself a witch, but how can I disagree? Some of the stuff she does must be black magic, because she makes developer out of everything. She's into the low tech. She's going to show us. She's going to show us. We're going to see some results as well, but she's going to show us exactly how to make developer out of stuff you would never have thought of to develop your film in. You know, I mean, I did a show on Caffeinol last season, and that blew people's minds. Well, no sooner have they put their minds back together again than we're going to blow them again, because there's a world of stuff out there other than Caffeinol. Pardon me. Anyway, where do I start? Well, I start by going into my little box here. Okay, so bye big screen. Whoop! Oh, I'm lost in the netherworld. There we go. Whoa! But hello, little screen. Now, what's all this? What's all this business over here on the main screen here? This is actually this whole show. Researching this show really took me back. It took me back to the days before I knew what I was doing, and I even made a bit of I made a few videos on YouTube, which went down very well. For those of you looking at my very earliest developing films on YouTube, I have a caveat, which is that I was kind of learning as I was going, didn't quite know what I was up to. And there I was on YouTube telling the world how to do it, like I was some kind of expert, and thereby started a very slippery downward slope for all the YouTubers out there who I would say about 75% of them are just in it to have a laugh and don't actually know what they're talking about. 25% are damn experts, and I'm trying to edge into that 25% myself. So developing. I mean, I don't know how much any of you all out there in the world know about developing film. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Which means that if you develop still film 35mm, if you had a bit of experience with that, Super 8 is really no different. In fact, I believe that they make the film in great big sheets before they cut it up for 35, for Super 8 and whatever. So Tri-X 35mm is the same as Tri-X Super 8, and you just have to treat the Super 8 like a negative, and you'll be fine. But where do you start? Everyone's asking. Where do I start? I'm just one person. Well, okay, right. Well, I'll leave that picture up there, and I'll show you a few things you need to do it. But firstly, Or should we do this first? Should we do the darkroom stuff first? Yeah, let's do the darkroom stuff first, and then we'll go on to what I've been up to this week. Because I've been up to some stuff. I've been up to stuff basically to prepare for our guest of honor tonight. I went out and did some weird experimental developing. I put stuff in developer which I've never done before, and I saw how it went. We'll get on to that in a minute. What do you need? What do you need to develop film? Already we've got a request from Peditol02 saying, will you give us some written examples of these new recipes, please? All in good time. All in good time. Yes, there will be data coming down the line. And he said, thanks. He or she said, thanks for your great work. You're welcome, mate. Let's do some great work. Let's show you what you need to do, what you need to develop film. Okay. I'm going to put myself back on the big screen for this because some of this stuff is a bit too big to show on the little screen here. Oh dear, that should be keyed out really. Never mind, we'll get on to that in a minute. Right, here I am back on the big screen. Hurrah! Okay, what do you need? What do you need? I've got a few things here. These are basically your very, very, very most basic things that you will really, really, really need in order to develop film. Okay. Number 1. Also number 2 and number 3, some jugs. Just water jugs. These cost £1.29 at my local hardware shop. They are graduated up to 2 litres. They are incredibly useful. You are always going to need these. You need these for mixing your developer, mixing your fixer, mixing your everything. And and many times you're going to need some sort of receptacle to put your stuff into. So put your juices, your developing potions into. Get hold of some jugs first. Don't use stuff from your own kitchen. This is really important. Don't mix processing and eating environments. Take it from me. It's not a good idea. Try and get hold of your own stuff. Don't do it with stuff you find in the kitchen unless you live alone and you don't care about being poisoned and whatnot. So you're going to need jugs. You're going to need some of these. You're going to need one of these, which is a developing tank. These are not expensive. I think they're you can get second-hand ones pretty cheap. This one takes 2 reels of 35mm film. Never mind about that. It's still a useful thing. What the purpose of this thing is it keeps your film in a dark environment, and you can still pour liquids down the middle of this hole and pour them out again. And that is basically the process of processing your film, is that you have your film inside a light-proof container, you pour stuff in, you pour it out, you rinse, you pour some other stuff in, you time it, you pour it out again, you rinse, you pour other stuff in, time it again, we'll get into timings, pour it out, rinse, and at the end of the whole process, you open it up and take your film out, and in theory, it's done. In practice, there can be some real heartbreak at that moment. As I said, this is a two reel one for 35mm. However, if you're going to do Super 8, it's quite good to get a bigger one. This is I think it's a 3 reel, maybe even 4 reel. I think it's a 3 reel Patterson tank. If you Google that, and you this gives your film a bit more space to slosh around in the developer. So I would recommend getting one that's a bit bigger. If you get a small one, the film sticks to itself. It prevents developer reaching every part of the film. It can stop parts of the film from being developed. And yeah, it's a bit of a crush, shall we say, a bit of a squeeze to put 50 feet of Super 8 into one of these. It can be done. Don't get me wrong, it can be done. But the bigger one is a bit better. I used to have this. Oh, I'd still have this, but I used to use this giant one. This like too big to even get in this picture. I stopped with that. It was, I mean, for a start, I had to brew up 2 liters of developer and in order to even fill the thing up, and that was quite wasteful on resources. So you got these, you got this. What else do you need? You need this. This is very, very important. It's a changing bag. It's a photo changing bag. Now, this is a big one. They make them smaller, but I would advise you to get a decent sized one. It is a light-proof bag. Okay, it's too big to even show you on this show. There we go. I would show you the smaller one, but just imagine this, but a bit smaller. So you get your hands in it. Bear with me, everyone who knows this stuff already, because I'm initiating the newbies. You get your hands in it, and inside you can do anything you like. Oh yeah, it's got a big zip at the other end. Oops. It's got, you can see me through there, but it's got a zip at the other end. You put all your stuff into it, and then you just put your hands in. You don't need a dark room. You don't need a red light. You don't need anything. You just need one of these bags. Okay? And they're not that expensive. Let's see how much they are while we're at it. Let's have a look on the old Fleabay. Oh, I'll get myself off the screen first. Let's see. Oh, okay. $13.99. What else we got? $16.99. Not bad. You know, these are sorry Americans, these prices are all in pounds sterling. Just add a third for dollars, I guess. Although, in my experience, you pay the same in dollars as we do in pounds in the UK. Changing bag for nappies, and okay, that's not exactly what you need. £20 for this one. $26.99. It's not going to break the bank, and it is an absolutely essential piece of equipment. I guess you could change your baby on top of it as well, but anyway. So that's your photo changing bag. What else do you need? Well, another thing important, really. I'm going to show you in a sec. Here we go. Important is a thermometer, a darkroom thermometer. It's a darkroom thermometer I got. It is very responsive. It is very useful. It is essential because temperature is a factor, even in black and white, people. I know that color is very temperature important, but a darkroom thermometer, I don't know, cost you about £10. Use it all the time. It's vital. So you got your tank. You got your jugs. You got your bag. And that, believe it or not, is all the hardware you need to do the very most basic negative developing of your Super 8 film. But, I hear you say, how do you get the Super 8 film into the tank when, you know, it's inside a cartridge? It's in a cartridge that you've just shot. Okay, imagine you've just taken this out of your camera, your Super 8 camera. I know, we're very skewed towards Super 8 on this show, but never mind. If you don't like it, keep watching. Yeah, so you've got your Super 8 cartridge. Let's get the other camera on so we can see what we're doing here. Okay, so you got your Super 8 cartridge. So you finished shooting. This one is Tri-X. We're not going to go into color on this show. That's a whole show unto itself. And there is, believe it or not, there isn't a massive amount of difference between developing color and developing black and white. It's just all about other solutions, extra solutions, and of course, temperature. So you got your Tri-X, you finished. How do you know it's finished? Well, the Super 8 film goes a bit weird, but goes a bit skewed like this, and it says exposed along there. This one doesn't because I've simulated the end of a roll here. Okay, I've simulated the end of a roll. That's the end of the exposed. Now, what you'll be able to do. Oh my God, my chroma key's all over the place. I'm going to fix this. Let's get this chroma key properly keyed out. Oh dear, that's horrible. You know what? It looks it looks crap anyway. Okay, all right. Forget about the chroma key for now. Right. So okay. So here's your exposed film. Now, if you gently lever it up a bit, boom, the top bit it comes loose like that. That's the end of the film. Okay. Don't let it disappear into the cartridge. What you do is you pull it. You pull it out. Now, bearing in mind that all of this should be done inside the changing bag or inside a completely dark room, because otherwise you're going to expose your film and you will fog it and you will ruin it. Okay, so imagine this is in total darkness. Okay, you get it out, and then if you just pull, it comes out. Now, at one point, you're gonna feel some resistance. Okay, it's gonna stop coming out, and you're gonna think, it's not coming out very well. Never mind about that. Keep pulling, pull harder, and eventually it will come out. And then that's the start of every Super 8 film. When you try and pull it out of the cartridge, you'll get some resistance. Pull a bit harder, it'll come out. It'll keep coming, and then after that, it won't be any resistance at all. So you just keep on doing it. You keep pulling and you're pulling and pulling. So basically, and also, yeah. Try and keep it kind of flat, kind of level with the cartridge. If you pull like this, see this corner here, that's going to start scratching your emulsion, and you'll get long scratches on your film. So don't do that. Keep it kind of level, keep it flat, and pull it out like this. So out and out and out, and just keep going, keep pulling it out. I'm assuming, by the way, this is assuming that you don't have a Lomo tank. All right, a Lomo tank. We'll be getting onto that in the next show, but this is for your very, very basic level of expertise. You just keep pulling and pulling and pulling, and basically what you're going to get is a great big spaghetti-like bundle of film. Don't worry about it getting tangled. It should be tangled, in fact. If it's not tangled, it might touch against itself, which you don't want. Okay, so you pull and pull them, and you got this whole bundle of film. By the way, you're in change. Just to remind you, yet again, you're in the changing bag here. I'm going to switch to the other camera. Here we go, and switch that off. Okay, so you've got your film. Okay, I'm not going to pull it all out because then I'm going to have to wind it all back in, and that's going to be a pain in the ass. So imagine you've got a whole bundle of film here, spaghetti style. You get your tank, your developing tank. It comes off somehow. There we go. Okay, so you got your developing tank. You stuff it in there. You just stuff all your film into the developing tank. Make sure, I'm going to show you this. There's a central, you see that thing in the middle there, this thing. Make sure that's still standing upright in when you're done stuffing your film all around it. Okay? They're very important that thing's, if it's been knocked to the side like that, then you're in trouble. So feel around and make sure that thing is right in the center, because it's not in the center. What this is basically is a tube. It's a tube that funnels fluids that you're pouring into it, funnels fluids all the way down to the bottom of the tank. And the idea being that, can you see that? There we go, yeah. Is that, let's get it right. Okay, the idea being that the film is in that whole compartment there, nestled around, not on top, not under, not into, but around that tube. It's tricky. I'm not going to lie. It is tricky to do it, but do it anyway. Stuff all your film into there. You could even, let's get it up there. You could even put it into the tank as you tease it out of, it's not in the tank now, but imagine that's going into the tank. You could put it into the tank as you tease it out of your cartridge. Okay, so put it in there, boom, 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 pull it out. You'd be surprised at how much space, how much 50 feet of film takes up. It's a lot. Okay, so you just pull, 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 pull. The alternative is to actually rip the cartridge apart in the changing bag with a knife or a hammer or something like that, and lever it apart, and then just pull the film out and put it all into. But either way, it's all going into this tank. Okay. I think I've made that point rather well. Throw that to the side. So, right, you've got the stuff's in the tank, and in the changing bag, you managed to get this thing so that this this funnel here goes right over that tube in the middle. Okay. And then you get the lid on it. And then you got your tank, and then you can take it out of the changing bag, and everything else you do can be done in pure daylight. So that's great. That's the only part you really need to feel around in the tank for, is to pull your film out of your cartridge and get it into one of these, right? Oh, the comments. My God, there's people in the house here. Vladimir's in the house. Good evening. Hello, Vladimir. Hello from Ukraine. Well, hello back to you, Vladimir. Hopefully everything's going on. Manny Salazar's in the house. Hi, Manny. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Good afternoon from Tucson. And everyone is everyone's getting to know each other in the chats. That's lovely. This is exactly what we want. This is our place to go, where we can talk to people about this stuff, and no one looks at us like we're nutcases. Well, we are nutcases, but we don't judge here on Ben's Camera Show. Anyway, so you've got your stuff into your changing, into your tank, into your developing tank. So what do you pour into this? You pour developer into it. For the very, very, very basic black and white negative developing, here's the deal. You put developer, you rinse, you can put stop bath, which stops the developing. Also, running water will stop the developing. Okay, but stop bath is anything acidic, and usually you can use a dash of vinegar and water, because developer is always alkaline. That's the one thing that unites all the developers I've ever used, is that they've all been alkaline. But we don't have to go into that right now. The main thing is the stop bath is acidic, which is like vinegar, something mild acid. Will stop it dead. And I found that, okay, you don't have to use stop bath, but if you've got some vinegar in the house, put a slosh in some water, put it in there after the developing. It will cut your developing. It'll stop your developing dead. It does, I think, improve your picture quality, because sometimes bits of developer can hang around the film. They can sort of like lurk around the bottom of the film. It can develop some parts of the film more than other. Stop bath will just put the kibosh on all of that. And once you put your stop bath in, you've got your fixer. Now, I'm not going to say much about fixer. It is an absolutely necessary and important part of developing. It is made of stuff like sodium thiosulfate. You can buy the individual chemicals and make fixer. You can buy stuff called just fixer, or maybe if you've bought a kit, then fixer will be included in it. Fixer is the last step of any photo processing. It makes the negative or the film transparent. Very important step. And let's just take it as read that you've bought some fixer, you've mixed it up, and you've put it in there as well. Fixing is usually 5 minutes. You pour out the fixer. You can save it, save the fixer, and in fact, save all your chemicals. Why not? Save them and use them again. They can be used more than once. That's very important. However, they can't be used forever. So you've got to decide for yourself, well, I used this 7 times in the last week. It's the prints aren't, the results aren't looking quite as good anymore. Maybe it's time to mix up some new stuff. Fixer will last more than 7 times. My God, I've got some fixer that's practically old enough to legally drink. That's that's how old my fixer is. So yeah. So then you pour that out, and you've got your negative. Now, once you've developed it and you've got your negative, well, you can just project it on a projector and film it with your phone, and then copy it, and then take the video file, and you can get it. What's the word? You can invert it in computer software. You can use DaVinci Resolve. You can use Adobe Premiere. That's very easy. And then on the computer, you have your final positive print. Okay. I'm really glossing over a lot of stuff here. Okay. I'm glossing over some of the really fine points. We are going to get to it. But that's okay. So if that's the basic developing process, the negative developing process. Your developer, your stop bath or not, or and then your fixer. You could just develop, rinse and fix and rinse. Do lots of rinsing, especially if you've got hard water, by the way. If you've got hard water, your final rinse should be with soft water or mineral water or distilled water, because the calcium creates lime scale patterns on it. Anyway, that's enough of that. Okay, so what if you want to reversal develop? What's reversal developing? Yep. What is reversal developing? Reversal developing is developing it so that it makes a positive print. Okay. Have you ever seen slide film? It's positive. If you ever seen film that you project in a projector, it's positive. Okay. Reversal film is not negative. It's a positive. I think I've said that enough. Here's the difference between reversal developing and negative developing. It requires a few extra stops, everyone. And I don't mean photo stops. I mean stages is what I mean. Let's get some pictures on here. I've made some teaching aids here, so everyone sit down and calm down. So we're gonna actually learn something right now. Okay, so imagine this picture. This is a picture from Regent's Park in London. Very nice park. This is about halfway up this very wide road here. There's a drinking fountain there, which is switched off because of COVID. So here's your original picture. Here's your original scene that you are filming. Now, once you have filmed that on your film, you have what's called a latent image. Now, you see, I've actually darkened it slightly because it's invisible to the human eye. So imagine that's what you just expose. There's your latent image. Now, as you notice, up here, the sky is white, but your latent image, it's black. That's because the more light hits your film, the more dark it's going to end up. Okay, this is the basics of negatives. That's why there's this whole negative thing in the first place. So when you develop that, these dark areas, the developer hits these latently exposed areas, and it makes them dark, even darker. And that creates this, which is your negative picture. Okay, so let's do that again. That's what your camera sees. That's what's the latent picture that's on your film. And that's your negative after it comes out of the developer and has been fixed. Brilliant. That's negative developing. Couldn't put it any easier. Now, here's the thing. If you've put your negative in the developer for too long, been in the developer for too long, it gets darker. The longer it's in the developer, the darker it gets. So a very, very dark image will result like that. And when you reverse that on your computer, you're just going to get this washed out sort of light image, right? That's what happens if you overdevelop. That's overdeveloping. What about if you underdevelop? Well, that you get this, which is not quite light enough. It's not quite, there's no contrast to it. And your final print will look like this. It'll be too dark, right? That's underdeveloped film right there. Bear that in mind, okay? Now, reversal developing. Now, listen carefully. This took me a long time to understand, and these teaching aids are going to make it a lot easier for you lot to understand as well. Okay, so there's your negative after you've gone through the first developing and the stop bath and everything. There's your negative. You don't fix it yet. What you do is you bleach it. And I'm not talking, when I say bleach, from now on, I'm not talking about bleach to clean your flat or anything, clean your kitchen floor. Bleach will basically, it's a photo bleach. We call it bleach because it takes away everything you've developed. Okay, all this dark stuff, the dark sky, the darkness, everything in different levels, it gets stripped off by the bleach and leaves you with something looking like this. Now, I have colored some of it just an off-white, a kind of a yellowish. Okay. This yellow is unexposed film. This is what's left after you bleach. Okay, unexposed film, and well, that's been taken away by the bleach, and various parts of the picture have been taken away by the bleach. Okay, what happens then? You take the film out of the bleach, you rinse it really well, or you can use a clearing bath, which is a bit like stop bath for bleach. Then you take this unexposed film that's in a certain sort of pattern that's been left over from the bleach. You expose that to light. Now you don't have to put it back in the camera. You just have to put it into just hold it up against a bright light, and the bleach becomes a big latent image. Okay, so that's the unexposed film. It all gets exposed. Doesn't matter how much light you expose it to. Doesn't matter how long you expose it for. Just get all that leftover unexposed film exposed to light. So that's called a re-exposure. Finally, you expose you develop the film you just exposed, and hey presto, it becomes a positive. Right? Now, I'm not going to explain that again. Rewind the show and watch it again, because that's how you make a positive image. This is your final result after you've fixed it. All right. Now, if you've overexposed your negative, let's see what result that has. Okay, so that's your negative. Supposing your first developer, you left it in too long. It's gone too dark. That means that all this darkness is going to be taken away by the bleach, and your result is going to be too light of an image, because that's all that's left is a little bit of unexposed film, and all that's left is this light. Conversely, if you have not left your... I've dropped a piece of paper. Right. If you have taken your film out of the first developer too soon, then it won't remove much of the silver, and you'll get this. No, you won't get that. You'll get this as a result, which is too dark an image. Okay, so if you're reversal developing and your image is too dark, it means that you haven't left it in long enough. If you're negative developing and the picture is too dark, it means you've left it in for too long. Just remember that when you reversal, everything is reversed. Everything is you're through the looking glass. All right. Right, that's enough of that. Oh, I've torn them up. That's no good. Right, so now we have an idea of what reversal developing is compared to negative developing, right? Now, reversal developing, oh my God, there's all sorts of bleachers you can use. There's all sorts of developers you can use. There's even a couple of different fixers you can use. But the most important is the first developing you do. Whether you do negative or reversal, the first developing is the most important. Oh yeah, some discussion on the chat here about water. Benjamin Marriott, southern water is very hard. Absolutely it is. I have suffered from that myself. Either you could put it through a Brita filter. If you've got a few quid to spare, you can buy mineral water to make your fluids. Anyway, let's see what I did. Let's see what I did with this. Oh, before we go on to that, let's look in the screening room here. I've got some examples. Where am I? Where have I gone? Here I am. Okay, I've got some examples of things that can go wrong during a developing. Okay, you've seen the the overdeveloped and the underdeveloped part of it. What happens if your bleach is no good? Well, this is what happens when your bleach is no good. Horrible things happen when you haven't bleached long enough, or if your bleach hasn't caught every single part of the picture. So it would have been a lovely film. This was done with my Bolia at 70 FPS at a trampoline park with my kids. It would have been a great shot if I hadn't have bloody well screwed up the bleaching. And that's why some of the picture is got contrast, some of it's got no contrast. All the dust and hairs on it, well, that's my fault as well, but that's not the bleacher's fault. And yeah, so this is when you don't bleach properly. Awful. Well, you know, I mean, look, even with when it goes horribly, you can't fault it. Film is so great. Here's another thing that went wrong. I've shown this on a previous film, but this is solarization. I think I exposed the film to, I think it got flashed by light halfway through the developing somehow. Either that, or I didn't re-expose the second time. I didn't do that long enough. So basically, some of the picture is negative and some of it is positive, which is crazy. When you mix negative and positive in the same picture, you get this mad effect there called solarization. That can go wrong. What else can go wrong? Well, something can go right, sort of, which is if you're supposed to use different developers the first time round and the second time round. If you use the same developer first time and second time with Kodachrome, I find it gives it this amazing wee color, this Lucozade kind of orange tint, or yellow rather tint to the reversed picture. This is some expired Kodachrome 40. And it gets a, I don't know, yellow and black is nice. It's nice. It's not a bad result, and as long as that's what you're actually going for. I still can't remember exactly why it does this, but this is if you use the first developer a second time. It might have something to do with colloidal silver. I'm not sure what causes the yellow. Anyway, that's a lovely shot there. I love that. That's in Kensington Gardens pre-COVID. Anyway. I was just about to go to the Albert Hall there and see Bill Burr in line. There is Bill Burr. Hey, old red face there. Whatever. Anyway, so a bit naughty bringing a Super 8 camera during a gig. Anyway, with all of that in mind, it's Benjamin. It's quite a cool accidental tint. It bloody is. Yes, thank you. Yes, it is cool. It's not what I was after. Anyway, so. Let's move on. I know I'm moving at a breakneck speed here. It's already 37 minutes into the show, and I haven't even got to our guest yet. Please hang tight, guest. Dagie, that is. Anyway, we're almost there. In honor of our guest coming, I tried some experimental developer because remember the thing I said about Caffeinol. You can use your kits. You can use, well, let's have a look. You can buy whole kits which do everything for you. Here's one. Get my ugly mug off the way. Here's a Fomapan one. Well, it's Foma black and white reversal. You can buy the entire kit, everything you need, £36 there. What else can you get? Oh, £51. That's for a color. That's for an E6. That's for color reversal. £51. Yeah, you could buy that stuff. Or if you're a bit adventurous, you can buy the chemicals and do it yourself. But anyway, what I want to show you is what I did with some experimental. So you can use Caffeinol. You can use all sorts of things. You can create your own developer. In fact, Adrian Cousins made his out of, I believe, his food caddy. And for those of you not in the UK, a food caddy is something they give you to recycle all your organic scraps from the kitchen. You know, potato peelings and carrot peelings and all the rest of it. And Adrian Cousins went and boiled all that stuff up and made a developer out of it. I suggested to do the same thing, and my lovely wife finally put her foot down with all my Super 8 and developing shenanigans. She said, no. There's no way in hell you are getting the contents of our moldy food caddy and putting them into one of our saucepans that we use in the kitchen and boiling that crap and making developer out of it. Luckily, I had an alternative, which was this stuff, which is wine, which was a failed experiment by my dad, who likes to make his own wine. LC. It's called. This was the 2019 vintage. Only 6 bottles of this because the birds ate everything on his grapevines. So this was only like 6 bottles worth of wine was left, and it was this cloudy, disgusting mess. So I added 75 grams of sodium carbonate to that, which is a very important thing. Mixed it up, and the other important thing is vitamin C. Sodium carbonate, vitamin C, and any kind of organic fluids, any kind of soup or weird stuff. Here's me adding the vitamin C on there. It fizzes up a bit. I stirred it all up. I had to filter the thing. And this produced a developer, which is called Winol. I don't know if it's officially called Winol, but after stirring that up and filtering it, it made this rather pungent, quite nice smelling actually, stuff. Now, I warmed it up. Dagie Brundert advised me to warm it up to 30 degrees. And this is how you can warm it up. You can put one small jug inside a big jug and put some hot water in there. And with the thermometer, you can tell exactly what your temperature is. Here we are. You can see it's going up there. You can actually see the alcohol going up in the thermometer past 25. I got it to 30. Actually, I got it to 40. Too hot. So I put some ice inside a nitrile glove. What can't they do, nitrile gloves? And I sloshed it around inside there till it brought the temperature down, back down to 30. So 30 degrees. Winol in Winol, white Winol. Winol's been, all the recipes I saw said red, but white seemed to work as well. And it doesn't stain either. So I did some test strips first. On the left, you see that was 5 minutes in the Winol. In the middle, it's 10 minutes in the Winol. On the right, it's 15 minutes in the Winol. You see it getting, there you go, 5 on the top. That's actually 7 minutes in the middle, and I think 10 minutes in the bottom. It gets darker as you go. And here we have the different, the results of that. So you can see 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 50 minutes. As you develop, it gets darker and more contrasty. And here you see that 7 minutes on the left, 5 minutes on the right. And here I've made one of my lovely mosaics. So top left, 5 minutes, top right, 7 minutes, bottom left, 10 minutes, bottom right, 15 minutes. It gets brighter and brighter and more grainy. If you don't like grain, then watch out how long it's in the developer. I was basically pushing it right there. And before I show you how the result of the entire film, let's have a look at something else I checked out. I was a bit worried that 750 mils of wine wouldn't be enough. Wouldn't be enough for my developing. So it wouldn't be enough to cover the film. So what I did is before I took the film out, I drained it. And then I poured in an exactly measured amount of water until I saw, this is the small Lomo tank we're looking at, by the way, until I saw the developer just cover the film. I wanted to find out the minimum, absolute bare minimum amount of developer you need in order to cover the film. And that was about it. And then I looked at how much film I had, how much water I had left in the jug. And it turns out that the small Lomo can develop the film in with only 500 mils, half a litre. I've been sloshing an entire litre in there. And to be absolutely sure, I put, I think, 800 mils in there and the small Lomo. And it went way under the surface of the developer, of the water. So there we go. I've learned something interesting here. You can actually use a single bottle of wine. Don't worry about making it all up to 1 litre. You can use one bottle of wine. If you're stuck and you've only got 500 mils of developer and the small Lomo, I keep saying small Lomo, the bigger Lomo takes more. I would put at least a litre in for the big Lomo to cover one roll of Super 8. Tio Manny says, I've had decent results using mesquite bark. Hot and cold phenol extraction. That is correct, Manny. It's phenols. Phenol. Phenols. Those are the organic compounds that are necessary to make a developer. There are phenols in wine. There's phenols in everything. There's phenols in all sorts of organic stuff. So let's see the results of that Winol. This was Orwo UN54. Developed as a negative in Winol, and it comes out pretty nice and clean, to be honest. This was filmed a day out in London. As usual, London is empty. The underground, totally empty. We went to Covent Garden, usually completely thronging with people. Empty. Great. No shops open, of course. No people entertaining there. What's going on with the picture there? Look at that. Oh dear. Oh dear. You know what that is? Well, I'll tell you in a minute. Okay, that was a problem I had inside the reloadable cartridge I was using. I'm always on about how great the reloadable cartridge is, but look at that kind of vertical shuddering you got there. Yes, there was a problem in my cartridge. In my cartridge there was problem. And that problem was the transport. Oh, yeah. Okay, I didn't shoot this. This was shot by Michelangelo Antonioni in 1975, a film called The Passenger. And here comes Jack Nicholson. Look at the location he's in. It's the Brunswick Square Centre. That was when it was all brand new. And we went by there. later that afternoon. I'm just showing you. It's not a bad film, actually, The Passenger. It's quite art house. Quite nice. And that's, yeah, there we go. That's what I shot. Looking like it was shot 100 years before Antonioni rather than 1975. Now they've all done it up with shops and stuff now. Most of which were not open at the moment. And finally, here's the test strips I did. I shot on was it a Bolia ZM4. I think where the guts just fall out of that guy. Wind-up robots. They are the best for this kind of thing. They move and you can film them. Right. So yes, that was the one. By the way, that dragging on the picture. I'll show you another film that happened on. Look at this. Yeah, if you ever get this, by the way, see that kind of blurry, that vertical blurring and everything. That means that the film is getting resistance as it goes through the. Recognize that? Yeah, the film is being dragged. It's not coming through the cartridge smoothly. And the camera is having trouble pulling it through. So if you get that, that's what's happening. So Wynol. Yes, Wynol. That looked okay. Not bad. I think if I'm ever stuck for a developer, white wine plus sodium carbonate plus vitamin C worked. I used 7. Here we go with the. I haven't written them down, but here we go for anyone who wants to take notes. I used 750 milliliters of wine, which is what you get in a regular wine bottle. I used 75 grams of sodium carbonate. That's anhydrous sodium carbonate. That's the water-free one. And I used, I think, 17 grams of vitamin C. I was trying to measure out 16, but my hand was I was a bit heavy on that, so it was 17 grams. Mixed it all together, and 7 minutes in 30-degree developer gave me the best result. If you're going to use room temperature, I would bump that up to 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's why they are the test strips are really, really, really useful. Anyway, right. We have got as far as I'm going to take you. I'm not going to go into the whole how to do a Lomo. I think I'll save that for next week because I'm going to do a special one next week all about equipment from the USSR. What we're going to do now is go to our guest. Finally, yes, we have a guest. We have a guest, and our guest tonight is the amazing Dagie Brundert. Let's have a look at. Let's see where is she? Let's get full screen. Hey, there we are. Hey, Dagie, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us.
Hello. Okay, I got my sound on, right?
Yep, I can hear you. I can hear you fine.
Perfect.
So, welcome. Willkommen.
Yep, welcome. Thank you for welcoming me. Oh, wow, yes. And thank you for your wonderful explanation about reversal developing. You really made it clear with the pictures, with the latent image and everything.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I did this afternoon. It was it was helpful for myself as well, because it took me so long to understand why.
Yes, me too. Same with me.
Why it worked. Now, for those of you who haven't heard of Dagie, can I introduce you? You are the I would say the world expert on alternative developing solutions, and not only developing but other photo processing solutions. The things that you have made, and we'll be showing everyone, but the things that you've made developer out of are quite astonishing, really, and it really opens your mind up to all the stuff that can. The organic materials out there that can be used to make a development. But before we get on to that and show some of the stuff you've done, can I ask you how long you've been shooting on Super 8?
Oh, forever. Over half of my life. I would say like about 30, 31, 32 years. I started in the late 80s when most of you haven't already not been there on Earth. So I'm quite Well, in my age, and well, 89, I think I started in 89,
Right.
when all the labs were still there. So I used to send all my films out to the labs, and they came back like 2 weeks later, and I didn't develop them myself. That started later.
Right. So you weren't tempted to go to video, because at 89, you know, we had some SVHS and Hi8 and stuff like that. No?
No, never. It's just a question of aesthetics, and never.
No.
It was pretty well sure in the beginning that I would always stuck on film, because it's a decision of aesthetics, and I would never kiss a pixel. I kiss grains.
Wow, you're a purist. But of course, you know, as time went by, the labs started closing. Fewer and fewer places were like the Kodak labs, you know, Kodachrome, they stopped doing that. And so I'm assuming at some point you must have started developing your own film.
Yeah.
And when about was that?
Well, that was pretty early, because I soon started to develop expired stuff. One lab after the other just stopped, and I was always into photography, to black and white photography. I had a darkroom, so I was used to play with potions and all that stuff. And I did it because I had to, on one hand. On the other hand, I was curious how it would look like to film with expired stuff, and to develop also color, expired color. And the results were so amazing. Sometimes they made me cry, and sometimes they made me happy. It was just fantastic to come so close to the material, to do it, to manipulate it, to feel it, to do this the haptic stuff.
Yeah, the hands-on analog is a very strong drug. It's hard to stop once you started that way. But did you? What was the first developer you used? Was it Caffenol? No.
All the Caffenol stuff came later. The first, I think, I always stuck to Rodinal.
Rodinal. Yeah.
100-year-old super developer, which
still
is
available.
It's still available. Ardox, they sell. It's just a fantastic developer. It's only a one-shot developer, but who cares? It's not expensive at all. I think I used that, and some I don't remember, but it was before mixing, because at that time, like 20 years ago, I was pretty aware that it's not so healthy what I've been doing, but because we have to recycle all the stuff after use, you can't just flush it down the toilet, and that was still okay. But after a while, I really got into, isn't there an alternative to all this toxic stuff? And
that's when you discovered Caffenol.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, Caffenol was my own entry into the developing world. I'd done some 35mm stuff with some Ilford chemicals. I still have some Ilford chemicals, and I have Rodinol as well. But Caffenol was really for me. It was a game changer. It blew my mind that this could even be possible.
Revelation. Yeah, absolutely.
And it was actually, as well as you, it was a kind of a financial necessity to buy expired film and to develop it myself, because it's so much cheaper.
Yeah.
And yet, if you send expired film away, there's probably two places like Film Rescue and the Super 8 Reversal Lab in the Netherlands that do expired film. And to be honest, I would never shoot expired film and send it to a lab because they charge huge amounts of money to do it.
I do it cheaper, by the way.
You do cheap. Hey, everyone, send it to Dagie. We'll give your website away later. But I think that's more for, you know, when someone's found an old film inside their grandfather's camera, and they sentimental value, you know, they don't want to try it to do it themselves, and you know, send it along. But so after using Caffenol for a while, you discovered other things that could be made into a developer.
Yeah, because I was just like you. I found out that it's the phenols inside, and I just learned it. I just read some articles on the internet, and I thought, okay, it's the bitter stuff. It's like the tannins in black tea and in red wine. It's all the stuff that tastes a bit sour or bitter. And it's also, phenols are also connected to flavor and to dark colors, mostly red colors of the fruit or of the blossom or whatever you use. And I'm not a chemist. I'm not a chemist at all. I wasn't interested in chemistry at school, not at all. But I thought, okay, if you bite into a leaf or if you bite into a tree, it would probably taste bitter. And I think that shows that there's phenols inside, and that shows that there's something inside, some molecules that you need for developing. This is, for me, it was quite logic, because bitter stuff bite on silver. This is, for me, I can't explain it even better. It's just, because it has to transform the silver salts into metallic silver. That's what black and white negative photography is all about. And you need something very strong, and the strongness appears in bitter stuff. That's it. And I just learned. I just did everything. I thought, okay, it might be like bitter berries, like choke berries. That were fantastic.
Now that gives us a very good intro now to show some of the stuff that you've been doing.
Oh yeah.
So let's go into what I call the screening room. I will bring you along here. There we are. Now, chokeberries. I have your footage here.
My aroniol.
Yes, aroniol. Did you give it that name?
Yes.
Chokeberries. I'm not familiar with them. Is that an American?
No, it's German, and in German
okay.
They're called aronia berries, and they're full of vitamin C, and they are totally bitter and high on vitamin C.
Well, you got lovely contrast there.
Yes.
So I wonder what the English version of those are. Whether there is even. Is that the berries? Is that where they?
Yeah, no, that's another flower. The berries you will see later. But the English expression is chokeberries, and the German is aronia.
Well. In autumn we have blackberries, lots of them in the UK.
Chokeberries are even stronger. Blackberries work fine, but they are high on some gooish stuff. I don't really know.
Wow. Let's have a look at some other stuff. Something else you've used here. Here we have. I've found this on your YouTube. Tomato juice. Yeah,
tomatol.
Tomatol. Okay. Fair enough.
The developer ends with ol. Most of the developers.
Yeah. Caffeinol, tomatol.
Funny words.
So how did that turn out? I can't remember if this is in the film as well.
I'm not sure, because I developed a negative sheet for my pinhole negatives, and it was fantastic.
Wow! So you're putting is that the sodium carbonate or the vitamin C?
Looks like vitamin C.
Tomato juice it's very thick. Did you have to filter it?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It just it's sinking down slowly to the ground. In the end, you have this goo stuff on the bottom, but it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Because you're rinsing it. You have to rinse well, and then it goes, this is vitamin C. It makes funny bubbles, funny chemical reactions.
Yeah. It always fizzes up. You have to do. I should warn people not to throw all their chemicals in at once and do it all at the same time.
Stir well all the time. Makes sense. And you can smell on it. You can smell it. And then I added
chili
to make it even hotter, because spices work very well. Spices are full of phenol.
Yes, you said something earlier about cinnamon working. I was going to do the wine with some cinnamon as well.
Yes.
So here are the negatives from the tomato juice developer.
Positive prints.
Positives. Nice.
Yeah.
Is that from a stills camera?
Yeah, from a pinhole camera.
Pinhole. Oh wow! So you do pinhole as well. You do pin. Oh wow! Here we go. Let's have a look.
I have it all here. This is my pinhole. One of my favorite pinhole cameras, made from a spice can, and I think there's nothing inside. You can open it. Can you see? There's a hole.
Yeah.
A tiny hole, like 0.2 millimeters. It has to be very tiny. And if you open this, there's nothing inside. I painted it black from the inside, so it prevents the light from bouncing to and fro. And I put a sheet of, you can either put a piece of photographic paper or a sheet of negative paper inside the can, opposite to the hole, of course. And then you can, it's like a camera. It's just like a still camera.
That's so great. Yeah. I remember doing pinhole cameras when I was at school. Let's have a look. What else we got here? Oh, kelp, seaweed.
One of the best developer.
Really?
Imagine this.
What film stock was this?
That was actually Kodachrome, and the Kodachrome turned very, very reddish oranges. I made the experience that this Kodachrome has this yellow thing that we saw on your film as well. It has this yellowish extra layer in between the 3 black and white sensitized layers. And it seems it's getting enhanced by being developed with caffeinol and with other stuff. Sometimes I had the result of a very, very orangish film. Sometimes it's really bright red. And in this case, I used kelp, and for just, I don't know for what reason, for just lucky reason, I got a very red negative, and I inverted it digitally then without any color correction. You see here.
Here we go. Yes.
And I got this wonderful.
So when you digitally invert and it goes a different color, you don't have the desire to undo the color and just have plain monochrome black and white.
Sometimes I do it, but I would use the Tri-X then, because the Tri-X always yields to wonderful black and white results. There's very rarely that I get some colors on the Tri-X, but I just wanted to have this Kodachrome because I knew that that something red would be
well
cool.
Talking of something red, look at this. This is strawberries.
Erdbeeren.
Erdbeeren.
Yes, developing strawberry.
That's amazingly red. That's like
really, really super bright.
Yeah. And was that Tri-X? Do you remember?
It was a Kodachrome.
Kodachrome. Wow.
Yeah, and it responded so well on this strawberry juice. You never know beforehand. It could have gone wrong. It also depends on the age of the Kodachrome, because the very, very old ones from the 60s or the 70s, I think they lose their yellowish layer, but the younger ones,
and here's the red reversed. It goes greenish, doesn't it?
Yeah, greenish bluish. I like it. The contrasts are so soft.
Yeah. You got lots of nice grays in there. Lots of gradation in there.
Typical low grainy Kodachrome. Yep.
Wow. How many strawberries did you use? Do you remember?
A handful.
Okay.
This is a basic recipe for any teas or juices. I just use a handful of anything for making 1 liter.
So can you be quite, unprecise about exactly how much phenol?
You can be unprecise, and this is what I love so much, because I normally I'm precise. I have this little scales and
I should have put that in my necessary equipment. What my family very kindly says, they call them drug dealers scales. Yes.
Exactly, that's what I call it too. It's eine Drogenwaage, eine Drogenwaage.
Right. I love there's a German word.
Because it goes by 0.0 something. You have 1/10 of a gram on it.
Yes, down to practically 100. Now this I believe it's just, you called it H2O2, which is, I guess you used hydrogen peroxide as a bleach.
Exactly. Yes. Together with lemon juice.
Oh, lemon juice.
Because you need something acid dish.
Oh yeah. I've heard of people using lime juice and peroxide.
You need to have something strong.
Do you remember what you developed this in?
You mean how much?
I mean, before you bleached it, what your first developer was?
Caffeinol. The first
that was caffeinol. Okay.
Extra strong caffeinol, which you use. Normal caffeinol, you use 54 grams for 1 liter, and I think I use like 80 maybe. And I also poured in some more vitamin C, and the temperature was hotter than regular. The regular temperature of caffeinol is 20 degrees centigrade, and I think I raised it up to 30 something.
Right. Is it generally a
first developer?
Is it necessary generally for the expired film to hit it with some very strong stuff?
No, it's better for reversal. If you have the first developer, if you have it strong, then you have you get all the you get all the exposed parts of the film developed so that you can bleach that away. So that you don't have any sleeping grains that the bleach doesn't get away.
Okay.
It has to do something with that. But sometimes it goes wrong, because all this reversal eco-developing, that's not so easy.
One of the viewers has said on the comments, vinegar with peroxide works. That's true. Yeah, vinegar is acidic as well, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
And finally, well, not finally, we got this one. You got so many films. I got so many films. This one was Schnapps.
The schnapps, exactly. Yeah.
Now that's like, I mean, Schnapps is like 40 to even more alcohol.
It was 40. The volume was 40.
40% alcohol, right?
Also, ouzo or vodka works quite well. I mixed it up with a little bit of water, but you can almost use it pure, and it's just fantastic. I just read it on the internet that phenols appear in distilled stuff because it comes all from natural ingredients, and this brandy is made from, I don't even know from what it's made. I don't know. What is schnapps made of? Potato?
Well, it's all sorts of stuff. There's pears and apple,
leather.
There's all sorts of schnapps. So, and the alcohol doesn't make any difference. Doesn't
I don't think
do anything to the film. That's good. So alcohol is kind of neutral to the film.
Yeah.
That's a lovely shot. That's really, really nice grain and a nice kind of slightly greenish look there. It's not there's you with the schnapps.
Yes, this is me with the schnapps.
Yeah. After a cheers, after a couple of glasses of it. What else have we got here? Now this is interesting. This is a film you sent me, it's called Salt Eats Film. Now we're talking Fixer here, right?
Yes.
So, instead of using sodium thiosulfate, you used a concentrated seawater, am I right?
Yeah, it was not concentrated, it was just plain seawater.
Oh, it can just be plain seawater.
And I left the film 2 days in the tank. 2 days, because I heard,
wow.
And after 2 days, I opened it carefully and I saw, the salt has already some kind of bitten knot on the film, and I was afraid that it didn't fix so much. So I poured in some more kitchen salt and just shook it around and left it for another hour. And then I was so afraid, so I took it all out. I think I saved it just before being eaten by a salt.
Right.
You see the picture? It is there. It's people on the beach.
Yeah, I see it. I saw the
picture.
But
I like the scratches, and it's like eaten. I don't know.
So all those scratches, they weren't there when you put it in the fixer.
No, not at all.
Wow. So it just kind of.
Oh, I love it.
Kind of bits fell off. Interesting. Now, I've heard people use they boiled onions for and made the fixer with the thiols, isn't it? Thiols. The chemicals that make fixer smell so bad are sulfur based, I think.
I never tried it. I never tried to eat onions, but I heard of that too.
Yeah, but that brings.
Typically, a fixer is salt. This thiosulfate thing is a salt. It's a strong salt, and that's why ocean water works too.
I see.
It's just because it's a salt, and you have to leave it in longer.
Yes, and the purpose of fixer, I'm just going by my limited knowledge here. It kind of makes the film clear, right? So you can.
It gets rid of the unused silver salts.
Right. So light will go through it.
Yes.
And finally, I've got this film from you. This was redwood tree bark.
It was in California. Tree bark is just fantastic. Tree bark is full of phenols because tree bark has to be strong, and phenols really make the tree stand up. It makes the tree strong and upright, and it also, as far as I know, it repels like insects. So phenol is a very useful component of plants. They give it power, they give it strength, they give it color, smell for attracting bees and all that. So phenols is just the magic thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So basically, if it smells and if it's bitter, and it's organic, then you'll likely be able to make.
But there are, of
course,
some exceptions. Like someone told me, try raw potatoes. And I thought, raw potatoes, I wouldn't consider a raw potato tasting bitter or smelling of anything that doesn't even have a color. But I did it. I pressed raw potatoes with this pressing machine, with this dejuicer, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And I got some fresh potato juice, and it was one of the best developers.
Really? Oh, wow.
I
should try that. Well, I really love the the spirit of experimentation that you can do, that you do at home. And I'm really surprised that more people don't do it. I mean, I see people say, oh yeah, I developed this in D76 or whatever, and I always wonder why don't people experiment more with all these different things out there?
They want to have a repeatable result. Probably they are like purists, and they don't like scratches. They don't like if they can't predict the outcome. Maybe it's not good for everybody, because some people get really nervous when I tell them, well, it can be like 25 degrees, or it can also be 30 degrees, and maybe it comes out nicely. Maybe it's crappy. You never know. And they, no, not for me. No.
Well, also one of the interesting aspects of your work, and it's something I want to explore more, is the using more environmentally friendly materials, and the fact that, you know, some of the chemicals, and it has to be said, some of the chemicals used in making film and in making developer and in developing, you know, they can be quite harsh and quite poisonous. But are we getting closer to should we say an all natural process? That is it going to be possible for you to you know, use the developer, fixer, stop bath, do a whole process with less environmentally damaging chemicals? Yes,
but you have to consider that inside the emulsion of the film there's silver halides,
right?
And there's also gelatin, and as far as I know, they don't take agar for the film gelatin. Probably they still kill
yeah.
Okay, yes. But also if you fix the film in salt water, and if you're all hippie and wonderful, but still you flush off the remaining tiny molecules of salt, be it metallic salt or
right.
salt.
Right, you can't. Yeah.
Silver or silver salt. It's not totally not toxic, but I think it's okay. I mean, if you use an eatable, a drinkable developer, and also a drinkable fixer, you're on the good side of it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to do, you know, the least amount of environmental harm as I can, and it's really nice to know that, you know, chemicals can be derived from natural sources as well, and it's a very nice way to go, especially if you're using expired film that would otherwise be thrown away in a landfill. But what camera did you use? Oh, let's see some cameras. This is the camera show. Yes, let's. In fact, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Okay, well, my favorite camera, I got it here. My favorite camera is called Dagie. Now, my favorite camera, can you see?
I see it. Yes, that looks like
a mirror. This is so weird when I look to. Okay, so this is the Canon 310 XL. It is a very light camera. People don't take you serious if you run around with it. You can just play spy camera. The sound is fantastic. And it runs on 18, only on 18. The speed is only 18 or single frame.
Oh yeah, good.
It's got one of the light intensest objective. It's 1.0.
Yeah. I was going to say the 310 means 3 times zoom and 1.0 f-stop, which is insane. That's really good for low light, right?
Yes, exactly. And it's just one of the best.
Would you recommend it for a starter, for someone who's just starting Super?
I would absolutely recommend it for a starter, because, as I said, it's very light and it's very easy to understand, because it doesn't have so many gadgets that are not necessary. It's just here's the door where to put the film on. Here it's just, let me show you this. You open the door, you put the film, and you have only 2 of these batteries here inside, and that's it. You can switch between daylight and artificial light. And this is it. Speed is 18, perfect. I had the best results with it, really.
There's no, is there a manual exposure, or is it all automatic?
It's all automatic.
Okay.
There's not a manual, no.
Okay.
You can't do that.
Or is there a backlight compensation at least?
No.
Okay, so you as long as you're using what you can use, so you can use 50D, 200T, Tri-X.
because the 200, I think the camera feels 160, like the old DARKROOM, and there's not a big difference between the 160 and 200. You can really, it's not even one stop. Same with the 50. 50 goes to 40. It's almost the same.
Yeah, it's good enough. Have you tried 500T though?
That's a good question. Did I ever? I think not. I think for the 500T, I'm using my next favorite camera.
Oh, a Nizo.
I got different Nizos, and they can feel the 500.
Yeah.
I think the Canons, I'm not totally sure, but I think the Canons can't feel the 500. But even if you want to use this 500 on a Canon, since it is color negative films, they are okay if they are over or underexposed, like 1 or 2 steps.
Yeah, they have a lot of tolerance for.
They have a high tolerance, so even if the camera thinks, oh, I think it's a 160 and it is a 500, it would be okay because it's just 2 steps, not even.
And what did you have an Agfa family there? You said you had an Agfa. This is a camera. I love the design of Agfa cameras. They go so crazy with. They have so many different mad designs of cameras. This is one that I don't have, but my God, look at it. It's basically a circle of plastic.
It's a circle of plastic. It looks like you could throw it in a swimming pool and it will swim on the surface, most probably. It's got just this one orange thingy. It's for single frame, and listen to that. And then it's got running. Where is it? Here. And it works. You can do nothing. There's no focus. There's no distance. There's nothing. You can just look. Oh my God.
So no zoom, fixed focus.
No.
I assume there's no manual aperture.
Nothing. Of course not.
No. All auto.
Pictures. I checked it out once years ago, and it was okay.
Wow. How close can you get to that with and stay in focus? I mean, how?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I don't know.
Well, no one can get closer than 2 meters to each other anyway these days. So it's
perfect.
Why not?
Camera.
Perfect. No one needs macro these days.
No one needs macro anymore. This is
everyone needs to stay further away, and then everything will be fine.
Yeah, so the regular distance of any Super 8 cameras is normally between 1 and 1.5 meters. So it's exactly the least distance that you need for not getting affected, infected.
Some comments here. Predileo2 from Canada says, many analog film lovers are ready for homemade options. Eco-friendly becomes more and more important to everyone. Well, I completely agree with that.
Definitely.
And Ichabod says the 310 XL recognizes up to 250 ASA.
So we learned something.
Who knows? Maybe some of those ones, it has the little button inside to see what ASA cartridge. Maybe it has one of those 2-step ones. Who knows? Maybe it has
250. Is that up to 250?
It says up to 250, but there's no 250 film, I guess, unless you're talking about the 16 mil stuff. But
and it's just one stop away from 500, so it will be just one stop overexposed. That's fantastic.
Right. Great. Well, listen, Dagie, what's your website? Let's give you some plugs here.
I have so many websites. I think one on your page there is my main website, is called after my name, Dagie Brundert, one word, .de for Germany. Then I have something.
By the way, after the show, if you this is not for you, this is for the viewers. If you go to my website, zerobudgetfilmschool.com, every website we talk about on every show, I have a links page, a links part of where I put them all up there. So I'm going to put yours up there as well.
That's good, but I prepared.
Oh, what's this? Whoa.
This is the main website for all my collected recipes. It's yumyumsoups.wordpress.com, and I put all my recipes on that page.
Brilliant.
And explained how much, how many, and also put up the results. Yep.
Excellent. And then there's dagiebrundert.de.
And then I have, for pinhole lovers, this is pinhole Dagie at .wordpress.com. That's all my pinhole photos, and yeah.
It's enough to be getting on with. Let's I'll link them all up on. I'll put them after the show. I'll put them all up on my page there. Excellent, Dagie. You are doing God's work, and you're
Goddess's work.
Sorry, yes.
Female.
Okay. Let me rephrase that. You are doing heavenly work.
Heavenly work.
Yes, and it was fantastic to have you on. Hey, a sparkler.
Celebrated. It was a pleasure for me. Please do that at home.
Yes. Well, this whole show for me came from being stuck at home with my cameras and stuff, and I thought I gotta get out there somehow and show people what I'm up to. So I'm glad to see you doing so much of this yourself as well. Sparkler. That's hilarious.
Okay. Game over. Yeah, it was fantastic. Let me say one more thing, because I realized when you told people about how to get the film out.
Oh yeah. Have you got a tip for us?
I do the same like you. I just pull and pull. But there's one trick in the beginning, because you have to set in the beginning it's very hard, and then it goes easier.
Yeah.
But on the other side, you see this circle thingy here. If you grab it and turn it counterclockwise a little bit, and then you hear that click, the film
you break the clutch basically, don't you?
The clutch, yeah.
So you can do that first.
Yes.
And then just pull the film out.
One round, just like half a round, and then you hear it click, and then you see, okay, it's moving easier, and then the film comes out easier.
I'm going to try that. Try that. What I've done in the past sometimes is inside the changing bag. I've done something incredibly dangerous that I don't suggest anyone does. But I have this big kind of hunting knife that I stab the cartridge with, and then I lever it up, and I kind of pull the thing apart. And usually I cut myself while doing all of this and get blood on the film. But you can theoretically smash the cartridge apart and take out the take up.
That's really hard, because they have this. It has been somehow glued together very fast, and it's really not easy to break it.
It's not easy.
The film slips inside. Sometimes it does. If you can't get it off, like here, and the film slips inside, you just have to hammer it open somehow. I use
all inside a changing
driver
bag
and hammer on it, and it's really, really hard to do it in darkness.
Well, Tio Manny says, thank you, Dagie. You are so awesome.
Yes, thank you.
No one can disagree with that. So thank you. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Oh, it's already over.
Listen, we're already 20 minutes past when I usually would end. But we're gonna you can stick around, because we always end up with a little film show with Real Super 8.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So
I think I pour me a glass of red wine with some phenols inside.
Yes.
It makes sense.
Oh, let's watch something now. This is interesting. Turning some lights off now.
Cool.
But what we have tonight is a Laurel and Hardy film. Hooray! You call them something else, didn't you? Call them like Dip and Pip or something, or
Dick und Doof.
Dick and Doof.
Really because Dick doesn't mean Dick. Dick means fat. And Doof means stupid. So they are called Fat and Stupid, which is
that. I love that. The Laurel and Hardy and the
stupid
utter legends that they are get called Fat and Stupid.
I grew up with them.
Me too. They're the best. Hilarious. Okay.
Nick.
All right. Let's see if this will work. Oh God, I had lots of trouble in the past with getting this. Oh, that's my credits. Not quite yet. Right. I have a Super 8 here. Is it running?
It's running. Your fingers.
There's my hand. I have to show. I always show everyone that this isn't just. I'm not just playing this from a video file. All right, we're ready for some Fat and Stupid. after all of you watching me, both fat and stupid. And here we go. Yay, it's working.
Yeah, Dick und Doof.
Dick and Doof. Did you see Stan and Ollie, the movie about them?
No.
It was very good.
I should.
Yeah, they're very well cast and very interesting. This is one of their early silent ones before they went to the sound ones. I'm probably going to get. I don't know. I haven't got hit with a copyright strike yet with all the stuff that I've been showing. I showed some of the black hole. I think it's because it's on Super 8. I think the YouTube algorithm doesn't know what to do with Super 8 footage.
Yeah.
Somehow it doesn't trigger
Under the radar.
But let's see if we got any music. I've got some music here, but it's probably no, it's the wrong music. You want the that whole one. Do you know that Laurel and Hardy actually made a couple of like German language films?
No.
Like about 2 of their films, they did an experiment. They filmed them with a German speaking cast, and they learned the German lines phonetically. They did the same with Spanish.
Oh, wow.
And they made, I think, 2 films in 3 versions: the English, German, and Spanish.
With their own voice.
Yeah, yes, with their voices, with a different cast.
The Beatles did that too.
That's right. Komm, gib mir deine Hand.
Gib mir deine Hand.
Yeah, deine Hand. Yes, that's right.
Komm doch, komm zu mir. Du raubst mir den Verstand. Oh, komm doch, komm zu mir. Komm, gib mir deine Hand.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I remember my brother playing me that back in the day, and I was like, "Whoops!" I was like, "What? Are you kidding me?" Yeah. You can still hear the original. It's just, and the guy has no emotion at all. He's not an actor. Yeah.
Robot.
Yeah. He's just watching the stuff. But there's a bit of a, and I understand that Laurel and Hardy, with their silent films, they actually remade many of them in sound. So and the silent ones never get shown anymore. Though it was Stan Laurel who came up with most of the visual gags and everything.
Okay.
And he was the story goes that after they finished filming for the day, that's James Finlayson. After they finished filming, Dick would go and play golf, and Stupid would go to the editing room and work on the technicalities, and that he was in fact the real genius of that.
The real brain behind this stupid name.
Yeah. That's funny because he played such a simple guy.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. He played the opposite. Exactly. Very interesting.
I'm reading some of the here. Okay, in Spanish it was called El Gordo y El Flaco.
And what does that mean?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I will have to.
Spanish.
Manny, can you give us the English of that? El Gordo y El Flaco. We can. I can quickly try and do a Google Translate. Gordo. I think it's probably. Okay, I found a Wikipedia page, but it's all in Spanish. Okay, didn't help. Yeah, but the film Stan and Ollie is really good. It's it kind of shows them at the end of their careers.
Yeah.
And in the 50s when they were doing. Oh, here we go. The Fat and the Skinny. Okay, so they was. Okay, so it's just fat and thin. Oh yeah, fat and the skinny. Yeah, but they were in the 50s. They were kind of finished as movie stars, and they were just doing live shows, touring around. They were old.
How did they end? I mean, how long have they lived? And did they just end in poverty, or did they?
Not that badly. I mean, Hardy had a heart attack and he died in the 1950s, I think. But Stan Laurel lived until I think the late 60s. And lots of young comedians in the 60s and early 70s would go and visit him. His phone number and his address, he was in the phone book. He lived in Santa Monica in Los Angeles. And he was always happy to have young comedians come and visit and talk about comedy and stuff.
How cool.
And so Stan Laurel, he came from England. He was from Lancashire, somewhere in the north of England.
Mm-hmm.
And he came over to the US on the same boat as Charlie Chaplin. They were both part of a live show.
On the boat.
More comments coming in Polish. Flip and flap.
Flick and flack.
Flip and flap.
Flip and flack.
Yeah, no, flap. I don't know what flip and flap means. Let's look that up. Why not?
Cool. I love it.
Flip and flap. Okay, it's translated into Russian. Let's do that. Okay. Can the guy who said get telephone? Do you know what flip and flap means? It probably means like, fat and stupid or fat and thin or whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to show the entire film. It's 25 minutes long, so I think we'll finish up. Let's get some music on.
So cool! I loved it. I loved
it.
Yeah.
Oops, that's a terrible.
Oh, I forgot to show my Russian. So next week it's all about the Lomo tank.
The Lomo. Yes. Let's. The Lomo tank. Yes, next week. Let me put the end credits on. Thanks everyone for watching. Next week we're going to go to the Soviet Union. We're going to look at everything, cameras and film and development materials and everything from the USSR.
Super.
And I have a guy who's coming on. I really hope he can. He's not going to come on because he says his English isn't so good. But he's writing answers to all my questions about Soviet technology.
Cool.
And it's going to be cool. It's going to be great. We're gonna go into exactly what made that Soviet stuff so interesting, like your Krasnogorsk double Super 8.
Yeah, perfect.
Fantastic. All right.
I'll be there too.
Dagie.